Well, welcome again to the podcast as we explore the candle themes, some themes from It's a Wonderful Life here at First United Methodist Church. I'm Reverend Strader, one of the pastors, again joined by
Doug Grogan, Director of Music and the Arts here.
So we're moving on to candle number 2, the candle of hope, and we're talking about Isaiah again. This time it's a little further into Isaiah. The people are in exile. The Assyrian king Tiglath-Pileser III, who incidentally is my favorite Assyrian king in all of Scripture, and when I go to restaurants, that's the name I give the hostess, because it's really fun just to watch them try to figure out how to spell Tiglath. But Tiglath destroyed Samaria, and he's taken the people and he's resettled them outside of their land. But he's only taken some of the people. He's only taken the royalty. He's only taken the wealthy. He's only taken the scribes. And all the ordinary people are left in the land. And so they began to marry other ordinary people that were in the land, the Canaanites, the Philistines. And you get this group of people who in Jesus' time we'll call the Samaritans. They're outsiders. They're mixed marriages. They're looked down as less than by the rest of Israel. And it's a time of exile. Israel is rooted in this time. It's a time in which Isaiah says to them, there is hope, and here's where our hope lies. Let's watch a scene from the movie.
I owe everything to George Bailey. Help him, dear Father.
Joseph, Jesus, and Mary, help my friend, Mr. Bailey.
Help my son George tonight.
He never thinks about himself, God. That's why he's in trouble.
George is a good guy. Give him a break, God.
I love him, dear Lord. Watch over him tonight.
Please, God, something's the matter with Daddy. Please bring Daddy back.
The premise of It's a Wonderful Life is that George is lost, he's stuck, and a miracle happens. Some people think Clarence, the angel's the miracle. I think a little differently about the miracle. But I wonder what it means to experience a miracle for you in our modern day.
That's a great question. I wasn't expecting you to go there with that. So,
Where did you think I was going to go?
I thought you would maybe inquire, like, what is the miracle of that moment in the movie?
Okay, we can go there and then come back to the other one too. To be fair, you've acknowledged you haven't seen the whole movie, so
but I promised you I would see it by week 1, so we're now on week 2.
We are, but nobody else is. We're just filming this as a thing. The miracle people talk about is that his life was saved. Clarence saved his life. The miracle is that the money was found, or that people gave money in the end to save the bank. The miracle is that George realized what the meaning of his life was, what his impact in the world is. What do you think the miracle is?
I think, for me, miracles come about through other people. I think that's the way God does God's work in the world, is through his servants.
Yeah.
And maybe, we're expecting the billboard moments and the lights flashing and the thunderous claps of thunder, anything of that nature to feel the power of God. But I think the power of God can come through the person that you're encountering at whatever business you may be in, or in worship, someone that shares words that you need to hear, or shares an action that you happen to be the recipient of that you never expected.
We all want the Dickens moment, right?
Absolutely.
We all want to have the ghost visit us. It's very simple. We know what we need to do, and we go do it. I think the world is much different than that. I appreciate you naming the people, though, because I showed this scene because for me it is about the people praying for George. That's the miracle. It's not how George's life ends. It's that people are turning to God. People are recognizing George is struggling, and they're rallying for him and around him, even though he doesn't know it. I mean, that alone, especially in our world today, would be such a powerful miracle for people to experience. You know, the talking about miracles and hope, we're kind of mixing these themes together here. But how do you find hope in the time we're living in? And I'm in no way trying to say that this is anything like what the Israelites were experiencing in exile. It's not, and yet it's a challenging time. How do you find hope?
For me, I find hope going back and looking at other people's stories, or reading their experiences, or hearing them tell their story, because I think, wow, I would have hated to be in their shoes, or how awful of a situation that may have been, or how difficult. But to watch how they've pulled through and then used their life in a positive way to help transform other people's lives. And for me, that's the hope to go, if they can do that, then I can face this.
Yeah.
And to know I'm not going to face whatever I may be encountering alone. There will be all those who are praying that I don't know about, the people that come by my side to help along the way. And that does give me courage and hope.
Well, that's the interesting piece of it, though, right? Like, there are people around us, and when we feel like we're in the darkness, or we feel isolated, or we feel like nobody's with us, it's the opposite is absolutely true in that moment.
When you're with a group of people that have no investment in you, I mean, you can be in the midst of 1,000, 2,000 people and feel absolutely, completely alone and lost and forsaken. But for me, I find in the community of worship that now I'm with these group of people, and that we're praying for one another. And while I may still be individually struggling with something that I'm worried about, I know there's people in this room that are lifting up in prayer all those unanswered prayers that they may not know about.
Right.
And so that gives me a breath of fresh air. It gives me that energy to take another step. It gives me hope to see tomorrow.
Yeah. The way we used to cultivate that in church was we used to have that open time of prayers, right? Where, I mean, and we don't do that because it's problematic in a few different ways, but that's why we did that, so people know. I wonder if there's, I mean, in this moment, I'm just wondering if there's something to be said about making space for that personal, just pause. This is where this goes here. I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
Well, back in Lent, we did the Minty poll, in which people shared their prayer requests up on the screen. And it was just powerful to look up and you see words that mean something to someone in that room, and to go, and there were some very honest prayers expressed.
Yep, absolutely.
And to know that's this community that I'm a part of.
It's important for us to remember that. I appreciate that. Well, I hope you'll join us this Sunday for the Sunday of Hope, and that you can find hope in the darkness with us. May you be surrounded by loved ones who remind you of your worth. May you always believe that no matter the darkness that you are living in, it is still a wonderful life. We'll see you Sunday.